There used to be a time, not too long ago, when this was the height of technology, the absolute best we could hope for. But those days are gone. We now have the capabilities of being on every phone in every pocket, on the biggest screens you could imagine, just beamed out and streamed out everywhere all at once. We understand that technology changes, and we have to change along with it. Now, when it comes to adventure riding, the same thing is true. There are advancements that are made all the time that make our rides better, make our camps better, make everything more efficient, more comfortable, lighter, simpler to carry. Any of a number of things can make something a much better product for us to use. Today, I'm going to talk about a leap forward that was made in my camp pad, which was already out of this world. Hey, this is Chad with BeGoneForGood. We do videos all about adventure motorcycling, from the bikes we ride, the trips we take, tips, tricks, tutorials, everything under the sun. When it comes to adventure motorcycling, you are going to find it on this channel. Now, if that's the sort of thing that you're interested in, definitely subscribe, hit that bell down below so you get notifications every time we upload a new video. And if you like this particular video, definitely leave a comment or give us a thumbs up. It super helps the channel. Now, what I'm talking about today is this camp pad, which is the Q Core from Big Agnes. Now, this thing has gone everywhere with me. I've traveled all over the world with it. It has gone on camping trips aplenty. This has been in my bike. This has been in backpacks. This has been in luggage. I've taken this thing all over the place because it is a massive camp pad. It's like 3.5 inches thick. It's wonderful to sleep on. It has provided me enormous amounts of comfort in places that I am not typically comfortable in. It has a really high R value, so even the temperatures coming up from the ground don't get to you nearly as much in something like this as they would in a on-the-ground camp pad or just sleeping on the ground as it is. This is a great asset to me being able to camp comfortably. In fact, take a look at this video right here. It's actually featured in my camp setup and how to sleep and be comfortable on the route, because I have to have that or I'm just not a sane person out there. Now, if you know this channel and if you've been paying attention, about 2 years ago, we were on the Mid-Atlantic BDR and this thing decided to dump out on me a little bit. And the reason why is because of this nozzle right here and its construction. What happened was the top and bottom pieces of the camp pad are actually stitched together or welded together, almost like rubber sealed together. And in between them is the nozzle right in here. This is where the nozzle is. That's how it sits in there, as you can see. Now the problem is as you inflate this and as you put a 200-pound body on it, inevitably you get breaks in this seam right here. You start to have failure points, and once you get them here, there is no coverage for that. There is no patch you can use. There's no amount of rubber cement that you can get in there that is going to fix this issue. And I had it on 2 different camp pads. I had sworn off Big Agnes altogether. I said, this isn't something I can do. I'm not going any further with this. I was really disappointed because this is not a cheap camp pad. Then Moto Camp Nerd got in touch with me. If you don't know Moto Camp Nerd, let me break it down for you. First off, they are the sponsor of today's video, as they did send out my new camp pad to me. They also are the perfect resource for anybody who's into adventure motorcycling, anybody who's into camping, whether that's car camping, whether that's motorcycle camping, whether that's just heading out to your backyard and doing camping out there. Moto Camp Nerd has everything that you could possibly need for your cook setup, for your camping. If you want to go ultralight, they've got bags, they've got packs, they've got food, they've got everything that you could possibly need for camping right in this one site, and it's all curated by people that do moto camping. So you know there are some things that if you're car camping, they just don't make sense on a motorcycle. This is a place that knows exactly what you need for being on a motorcycle and has tailored their offerings to that sort of thing. So we're talking about lightweight, we're talking about easy packing, we're talking about relatively inexpensive type items, though you can get up to the higher dollar, more luxury items, but they make this camping off of the bike palatable and approachable to anybody. They also are the absolute leader I have ever found when it comes to customer service. If you need help, you are going to talk to somebody over there. They are going to find a way to get you what you need or to where you want to be as far as camping is concerned. It is a phenomenal place. Definitely check them out if you are in the market for anything camping related when it comes to motorcycle camping. You'll find the links down below. If you have any other questions, you can check in with me or talk to their staff. They would love to help you at any time. What Moto Camp Nerd suggested was to step back to Big Agnes. Now I was like, I don't know, I'm not psyched about that last product. I don't know if I want to get back into it. And he said, they've got something better. They have dealt with the issues that you had, and they now have the Boundary Deluxe. Now I will tell you, the Boundary Deluxe is a little bit bigger, granted. I got it in a larger format, so I don't know exactly how they compare to each other. The R values are extraordinarily similar. So we're talking very, very close to the same R values. I think this one's actually a little bit better. So it keeps you a little bit warmer in those cold months. This is a 3-season camper. Now I've been out in extremely cold temperatures, all the way down to 22 degrees. And I was on this camp pad, or a camp pad just like this, and was very comfortable. I had 1,000 other things on. I had overlayers and all that. Not the sort of camping I ever want to do again, but I went through that night being able to sleep and being comfortable enough to be okay in my tent. That is on this pad, and is because of the R value that this gives you. They make suggestions that if you're going to be in super cold weather or on frozen ground, you actually want a closed cell foam underneath this, probably to give you an extra layer of protection. I didn't need it. I was okay. Do which makes you feel comfortable. The best part of this camp pad is that they've adjusted the infill for it and made it something that you don't have nearly the same leak issues on. This is how you fill this up and how you release air now. So with this massive valve here, you can either blow into this, or they give you a little stuff sack that you can use to squeeze and blow it up. This is your exfil. This is perfect. This sits flat on the pad, so you don't have the seams that are bunching up on there. If you have any issues here, you can pop this portion out and actually reseal this whole thing, make this all really good. But the sides are not going to break on you anymore because they're not a failure point. This is now sitting in the middle of the camp pad. I'm fairly certain that's going to take care of any issues. Now, I haven't slept on this one for 4 years the way that I did with the previous one, but there are a couple of other things that are also really great about it. This one is just this rubbery plastic everywhere all the way around. This one has almost like a felt kind of velvety lining on it, which one is a lot more comfortable to sleep again. If you sleep against bare skin, which I do most of the time in the summer, this feels very nice. It's also quieter than the just plastic one is. So that is an upgrade that they've made. They also have massive sidebars on this so that you can't really roll off. It keeps you centered on the pad. It's just a beautiful, beautiful pad. Super easy to blow up, super easy to get taken care of, especially if you use the attachment that comes along with it. It helps you blowing up. It comes with a massive sleep sack. Now, rolled down, this thing is pretty big. I will give you that. If you can get away with just a tiny little closed cell foam type of thing, maybe you're better off. But if you want a big sleep pad, this is a big sleep pad. So it's very large here. The way that I do it though, the way that I pack this, makes this not as big of an issue. I do not pack it like this. This would be a problem in the bottom of my pack. I use this thing and I unroll it and I stick it where it needs to go. So I'll maybe put the head up here, then wrap it up over top of clothes and stick more back down the back side of the pad. I use this basically the same way you would a tarp. You just kind of, it goes wherever you can put it. You can wrap it around a bunch of stuff and then stick it in there. But this basically gets packed wherever it needs to go in order to be in the bag, not rolled up like this. So the size of it isn't as important as you may think, given this. Now, as far as the comfort level, I can't rave about this enough. And to give you some insight into how important this is, if I don't get a good night's sleep, I am going to be a bad person to everybody out there. I work extraordinarily hard while I'm riding. I like having a lot of fun while we're out there. I get hot, I get sweaty, I get uncomfortable, I get really angry as we're dropping bikes and not getting on schedule and all sorts of other things. But if I can come to camp and I can get a good night's sleep, I wake up refreshed and ready to go the next day. If I don't, if somehow my camp pad explodes in the night and I'm laying on the hard ground all night, or even wet on the hard ground all night, or if I'm cold because my camp pad is not insulating anymore, I'm going to be very unpleasant. This camp pad is practically a necessity on my camping trips. And even when I'm not on camping trips, even when I'm, say, inviting a new baby into the world, I took this camp pad to the hospital knowing that I was going to be sleeping on the floor there. Took this camp pad, blew it up. It was quiet. It didn't disturb the kid. It didn't disturb my wife. And it kept me comfortable. and insulation wasn't nearly as big of a deal because it's inside the hospital, but you're sleeping on a hard tiled floor, and this thing did its job, and I was out like a light. It was perfect. I could not have asked for a better moment to have comfort along with me when I was traveling. This is my biggest recommendation to you. If you are like me and you plan on camping and you like to be comfortable while you're camping, the Boundary Deluxe is absolutely where you want to end up being. Now, I know it's a big outlay. It sits at probably around $250, $200, depending on what size you're going to be getting, but you will not regret it. It will last you a long time, and it is the most comfortable sleep that is available for anybody out there. You are welcome to go back to watching black and white TV, but for me, I'm going to stick with 4K color, huge screens as much as possible, because that's the technology that we have today, and that is the direction that I think my camp pad should be going. This technology is top shelf. It's the best you can get, and you will not sleep better in a camping scenario than you will on this camp pad. That's all I've got for the Big Agnes Boundary Deluxe. I will leave some of the specs down below so you can get any of the extra weight or size or whatever else you may need to make your decision. If you have any questions about what it's like to sleep on this thing, definitely leave a comment down below. If you've slept on it before or have another camp pad that you think is as good, maybe even better, leave that comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Again, thank you very much to Moto Camp Nerd for providing this, providing great insight into what I'm going to need, ways that I can make my camping better, and just being an overall perfect place for the adventure motorcycling community to kind of meet and understand the product lines that are out there. Thank you again. I appreciate it. That's all I've got. I've lost my train of thought. Again, this is Chad with BeGoneForGood. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this sort of content, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so you get notifications, and always, always, always remember, the adventure starts with you, up here and in here. And I'll see you in the next one.